Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Carvers and Creators. We are back. We are a demonstration and discussion with sculptors, carvers, and multi-talented artists from around the world. If you're a fan of the show and you like what we do, give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. It's good to be back. It really is. It's been a little while, but it feels really good to be back. Should we meet the artists?
Too long. Well, I have to meet the artist, Paul. I mean, we've done this before.
So I'd like to introduce the artist. First of all, he is an artist and sculptor from Tucson, Arizona. He is a handsome devil and a finalist on Halloween Wars. It's Mr. Matt Harper. My name is Paul Dever. I'm an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts.
Happy Thursday. Good to see you.
Happy Thursday is right. Our guest tonight. Look, I'm shaking, Maddie. I'm shaking. He's an award-winning artist known for his hyper-realistic silicone character sculptures. Tonight, we're hanging with the one and only, the sculptor of the bazaar, Tom Kuebler. Oh my goodness.
Couldn't be happier.
Unbelievable. Thank you for joining us.
How you doing, Tom?
Thank you for asking. This is a pleasure, you guys.
Oh my God, this is...
we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Is it Halloween or Christmas? I feel like it's Christmas right now.
Oh,
Santa's visiting. This is great.
It feels like a gift. So, all right. So, welcome to the show. This is Carvers and Creators. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to take a carving challenge while we go through a plethora of your amazing work. But before we can do anything, we have to revisit episode 1, which we had with the great Steve Casino, and the wheel chose for us a scared warrior. What the stupid wheel. Maddie, I love it.
Not my favorite, and the lighting isn't perfect on this one. I think I could probably do a little bit better. But one of the things I thought of, how do you do a scared warrior? This one was like, not fun to think through. But I had a pumpkin that had like a conquistadors looking helmet. So I went with that, like he just saw one of his buddies get, chopped down, and I'm okay with it. I have other better sculpts that I'm in love with, but I do really enjoy yours, Paul. I'm going to jump to that.
Well, hold on. Let's not jump off of yours just yet. There is a little backstory to this because we did take a little bit of time off. Life does get in the way. Sometimes we can't do the show. But you had a pumpkin way back when pumpkins weren't really around. Like it was. Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable.
This was an early one, and I think Tom, I don't know about you, but when we can't get pumpkins, we typically would carve like butternut squash. Gourds, whatever we can find. But so I'm at the point living in Arizona where if I can try to grow something, I will. So I've gotten into trying to grow it, and I'm very, very poor farmer, but I certainly try. So this is, I think, one of the ones I either grew or I had a handful of little ones, but
but you grew it. That's so cool.
It looks beautiful. I mean,
that's
it seems like a perfect pumpkin to me with a beautifully carved scared warrior face in it.
You guys are too nice. I'm just glad it's already long rotten. Let's take a look at Paul's.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I know. I love
that. Is not a pumpkin.
And that's a butternut. There we go.
That is a butternut squash.
Wow. Well, the wolf doesn't look scared.
No. I have this terrible problem with it. It's one of those things. I can't do hyper realistic on a butternut squash. It's just too funny. it has to have some sort of cartoonish something coming out of my brain. So I tried not to use any reference, and that's what I came up with.
I love it.
I do too. It's absolutely just phenomenal. It's just leaping off the page with its character.
Thank you.
You kind of want to meet the guy. Yeah. Like, dude, why are you scared? Come on.
He's agoraphobic. What is it? Agoraphobic? Yeah, he wouldn't want to meet you. He hides. He's scared warrior.
I was referencing the wolf because he looks very satisfied.
He's like he's about to eat him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. If he had a lower jaw, he'd be laughing his ass off. That's kind of what that looks like. Yeah. Well, we revisited the sculpts. Now it's time to move on, and we want to introduce you to our prestigious third member of Carvers and Creators. It is the wheel, the Hella Wheel. Some might call it the Sinner Spinner. It is the reason for our anxiety for the next 45 minutes or 3 or 4 hours, depending on how long this is going to take us. A week. So what we're going to do, Tom, is we're going to spin the wheel twice. The first time we spin it is going to be the character, and the second time will be the emotion or the attribute that we have to apply to the first. Tonight's choices are Frankenstein or Frank, depending on the loophole. Zombie, guest choice, so have one on deck. Beast, witch, voodoo, old age, alien, troll, or vampire. The second spin will be tipsy, confused, grumpy, guest choice once again, rage, sour, sleepy, horny, scared, or surprised. Couple of interesting choices on that wheel.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, are we ready?
Let's go.
Here we go. Guest choice. Oh, Tom gets to choose what we call it. It can be anything you want. Doesn't have to be on the wheel. It can be anything you want. But hold that thought, because the second spin could dictate what we do.
Oh, no. Don't be a horny something.
Oh, it was almost guest choice again. That would have been nuts. Grumpy.
Ooh.
Whatever it is grumpy.
Well, oddly enough, I was going to choose a grumpy Frankenstein.
Ooh.
I do be loving Tom's choice. Woohoo! Oh, good. Look at this. Look how close we came to breaking the wheel tonight.
Ooh, it just popped
It's a
up.
milestone. I gotta say, this wheel has seen a lot. This wheel has traveled on planes. It's certainly given me heartburn. So I'm gonna have to fix that. So grumpy Frankenstein. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't we all? Yeah.
We are kind of all grumpy Franks, like stitched
Although
together.
I was hoping for a horny Frankenstein, because how do you carve that?
Can I change my request?
No take backs.
Okay.
Big pumpkin there. All right. So before we get into Tom's amazing work and we start diving into our grumpy Frankenstein, we usually our tradition on the show is to go around the horn, and we have a sort of a celebratory good luck cheers with whatever our beverages of choice. So Matt, why don't you go? Oh, let's let Tom go first, because he had it up there. Oh, he's got the wings.
I thought that was my cue. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. That's good. He's got the Red Bull.
Yeah. The Red Bull, or the Lub Bear, as it's looking in the camera. So back.
Yeah, we got Lub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Matty, what do you got?
You got clarity on your side tonight. I've got this thing that I got at the grocery store that is let's see if it zooms in on me, or what's going on with this camera. Okay. Can you guys see that okay? So it's a zombie. Yeah. It's just, I think it's an ale of some sort. What does it say? Double pale ale. Okay, so not my favorite typically, but it was the coolest can in the supermarket, so I'm going to give that a shot tonight. So.
Okay.
So Matt's a legend for not being an IPA guy. So this is
what can you do?
All right, so I picked mine based on the can as well, and it might be one of the coolest cans I've ever seen. There's 2 parts to this can. If one can figure out what that is. That did not receive my paycheck.
You get off his space. Yeah.
The beer is called We're Gonna Need You to Come In on Saturday.
That's a real beer?
That's a real beer.
Is it really?
For Exhibit A. It's a Scotch ale. I'm not sure what a Scotch ale is, but I'm sure I'm going to find out. But come on. I saw this, and I don't care what it was, especially when he's sitting on the side of the can. Oh, great. All right. So cheers, gentlemen. Tom, thank you so much once again. This is a real honor for us. You've been an inspiration to us for quite a long time.
Absolutely. We can't wait to carve into your stuff. Oh, is metaphor? Oh, sorry.
That is delicious. I like Scotch ale.
Senia, good to see you. Paul, looks like you got matching shirts. What do you have on today, Paul?
Oh, I have my Carvers and Creators.
Oh, you are brilliant. So that means she has it on. She's brilliant.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Look at that. Good job. Good
Pumpkin
job.
Powers unite.
Yeah, and our buddy Johnny is drinking energy drink. Well, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, it's good to have clarity. The one thing Paul and I have noticed over the years is if some of these shows, if they stretch on and you have 2 of these things, the sculpts start to suffer, and we do too. Boy. But anyway.
I only suffer the next morning. I get taller and funnier as I have them.
That's right. According to your wife.
No, according to me.
Okay.
Holy Moses.
Okay,
Going
so
right into the deep end.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, I think I speak for a lot of the people who are fans of yours when I got to say this is like one of the most intriguing things I've ever seen. And we've got a few different shots of it here to share with people, including this one. To me, is just the blow away about the scale of this giant, and then some of these close-ups, and then the animal friends and the clothes but then the I was telling Paul when we were putting this together, I'm like, I just want to run away from him. I mean, it's like so fascinating. It's so realistic. I guess let's just start with the first question. What's your motivation behind creating this guy? Because I mean, I have that question looped into other parts, but let's talk about the giant.
Well, this piece here was kind of it was a bucket list piece where I wanted to do something at pure scale, bigger than I've ever done before. And Chris, the guy that I mentioned to you guys before the show started, who's the drummer, he wanted me to do a seminar. They every so often Smooth On has me do seminars on creativity and, thinking creatively with how to use their products, as well as just thinking creatively in sculpture and how to, I call it guerrilla sculpting, where you're taking what's available and just start using that into your, and so they said, we'll cover the cost of your materials and send anything you need out, from us. And so I thought, now's my opportunity, because materials are expensive. And as long as I document the entire process of how this was made, which was a year long.
Wow.
Now, I don't work on anything one time, when I say a year, I did a lot of other things along the way while I was building this. So this wasn't, a solid year per se, but it took a year to do it. In that, that's how long I had to work on it before this seminar happened. And so I just really I've always wanted to do a giant. And this was my opportunity. And I had this vision in my head of what he was going to look like and everything. And I tried to also incorporate some reality. In this case, it was acromegaly, which is it's a disease that can cause rapid growth, Mm-hmm. And he's also from a land, his name's Goliath Greeley, and he comes from a land where a lot of my characters come from, which is Razorback Ridge and some fictional area of Appalachia where Cletus and Shorty, the two-headed guy, comes from. And just, I have a number of characters that are sort of in that world and they're happy people that are freakish in their own way, but they live peacefully in a quiet area in the way back woods where you would never run across unless they wanted you to see them. Mm-hmm. So that was sort of the seed of this. I just started working on his head first and let that develop the way you guys develop pumpkins, the way you guys carve. I just started, I carve foam first, and get the skull shape. And then from there, I put Sculpey over that,
Okay.
So
yeah, that was going to be one of my questions about your process, because there's pictures we're going to look at that have looks like the clay part is already going underway. So so that's your okay. So you start with like a hard, rigid foam.
Yeah.
Kind of get the base shape out for the skull, and then start covering it with Sculpey. Okay.
Well, I paint it with Elmer's glue. That way the foam, because when you carve foam, there's like a dusty surface on that foam, and the Sculpey doesn't want to stick to it really well. So what I'll do is I'll paint it with Elmer's glue. Elmer's is real cheap and stuff, and then while it's wet, I'll take some sawdust and just blow some sawdust onto it, and it creates a nice, and then that sawdust soaks up the glue. It makes a real nice tooth, for you could screed Sculpey over that surface. It sticks beautifully, and it makes it a great surface for the Sculpey to stick to. And if your armature doesn't agree with the sculpt you're producing, in other words, if you made the cranium too big and this part sticking out too much, you can carve that foam back and then just push Sculpey over it.
Wow.
And you're good. So that's one of the reasons for the foam, is because foam is forgiving, and I need a lot of forgiving, you know?
Wow. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's why I'm not good at pumpkins, is because I don't forgive.
Yeah.
So I have a question. When you're originally, when you're creating the skull, the form,
Yeah.
do you go into it thinking about that medical condition, like say for the giant?
Yeah.
Do you? Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. Like in this particular case, I went into it thinking about, I really wanted to do a cool Nosferatu character. And what I loved about Max Schreck's head is it seems so misshapen, So I just sort of plugged that in and made my own, what would a creepy vampire misshapen, the ears are lower down and pointed.
Yeah.
And it's got all this bonicular looking.
Even a front ridge here.
Right, yes, lower forehead, and then the head's elongated. And so, I've always plugged that into what I'm doing as a sculptor first. And the skull, I have a huge collection of real human skulls, and they're all very different from one another.
It's like me and Matt's skull. Matt's skull's like twice the size of mine. Matt's a giant.
Yeah,
I'll give you mine when I'm done with it.
Oh, that sounds great, man. I'll do you proud. Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I mean, the ability for you, and we're going to certainly dive a little bit into it, but as far as the skulls are concerned, because I think what you're another master at is, like, from a biology standpoint, you clearly have to study like that disease state. You have to study some of these abnormalities. Do you have do you get a lot of motivation from sideshows, like the old? Because it seems like I pull out a lot of these amazing images, and you can tell that you were a big fan of like the early 30s Ringling, like wildness.
Well,
or I guess that was early.
Freaks
right?
changed my life. The movie Freaks.
Yeah.
I saw that at Filmworks at Kent State in 1981. We had this little thing where you go to see movies on a Friday or Saturday night at what we called Filmworks, which is in Ritchie Hall at Kent State University, and they showed the movie Freaks, and I was just riveted by Schlitzie, I couldn't get him out of my head. So, my whole interest in Freaks came from that movie.
Wow.
And the more I looked into, the sideshow world, the more I fell in love with all the real sideshow characters, because they were so different. And yet at the same time, I tried to plug Norman Rockwell into that.
Wow.
One of the greatest compliments I ever got was a guy said, "You're a twisted Norman Rockwell." And I was like, oh, because Norman Rockwell was really my greatest influence.
That is a great.
That is brilliant.
That's the best way to put that.
Yeah, if you look at my stuff, you'll see Norman Rockwell, but really twisted, because I love Norman Rockwell because he was doing, the eyebrows and and so and these people, them. They're your Aunt Sally and your Uncle Bucky, and them, but they have an extra set of arms or a third eye, or So I wanted them to appear just friendly, happy people, because what makes this world so wonderful is our differences, and all of the stuff that makes us unique. And so I was getting really unique with these people, and that's what I love about them. When I hear the word freak, there's no negativity in it.
Sure.
It's a very positive word for me.
Just means different.
Yeah, exactly.
But to your point about Norman Rockwell, like the expressions on their faces, although they're one man with two heads, and quite bizarre, but it is very, and I never put the two and two together, but you're absolutely, and that's like, what a hell of a, because you do really like know them somehow. That's probably why they're so relatable to people when they, when they get to see, like, even the giant, even your Goliath was to me somehow relatable. Like, I wanted to like run from him, but I also wanted to like try to just talk, like, it's okay, buddy. I'm like, you feel like a little bit of sympathy for the guy,
Yeah, I wanted him to be friendly. That's why all the animals love him.
Right.
Yeah.
It's eating time, and they all come running to him, and oh boy, he's got peanuts today, or apples, or whatever.
Oh yeah, they'll run up the shoulder. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. And that taxidermy that was on him, that was just antique store finds,
That's
so
brilliant.
Yeah.
So, and I know that one of the things you also do exceedingly well, like our friend Dan Chazinski and a few others that are just like mind blowing, art is the backstory.
Yes.
And you have a place they live, you have a name, does that help you, like, as you're creating it, kind of like with the characters, does it help your design of the character when you kind of have a story going in?
Yeah. Sometimes the backstory comes first, sometimes it comes last. Sometimes it comes somewhere in between. It's developing, but yeah, it's like this backstory. The Cletus and Shorty came, my wife and I were on a bike ride. We had just gotten some new bikes, and we had no idea. There was this place in Bowling Green where we lived at the time called Rails to Trails, and we were riding along. And we just kept going and going and going and going and going. No idea, that we'd forgotten we have to now come back, So we got all the way to Rudolph, and and I don't even remember where we were, but there was this cemetery there. Oh. And the cemetery had really, really, really old gravestones. And they were before vaccines, these children had passed away. And there was a gravestone there where twins had died at almost birth. They lived for like 6 days old. It's hard to remember now, but so I saw this one stone that said Cletus Greeley, and the other stone, and the baby was 6 days old, and the other stone, the rain and weather had washed away the first name, and it was so weathered out that I couldn't make out the name. But on the bike ride home, the visions, what if they had lived, and what if they were twins? What if they were shared the same torso, and they, and it just kept boom, 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 and it just kept exploding in my head, and I'm riding faster and faster, and my wife's like, wait. I'm like, I gotta start home. I'm pedaling home, and I just started it immediately because I couldn't get it out of my head. And that was what came out of it. And I already had the faces in my head because I had seen a picture of this guy that was it was a Civil War, the last surviving Civil War veteran. They took a bunch of pictures of him for Time Life magazine, and he was laughing at something on his front porch, and that was the thing for Cletus, the face for Cletus. I just love that laughing face. And then Shorty was just he's focusing on his, I got to get
the fingers right.
Yeah, fingering right, and then the Shorty thing, I had these big giant boots, and I put this heel extender to make Shorty the Shorty, and that was fun because then now I got to make a brace for him, so he's so I got these closed end wrenches, they were for sale at the flea market, so I bought a bunch of them for like a nickel a piece, and welded them all together, got some old leather jackets and made the harness for it, as if some garage door mechanic up in the mountains put this thing together for. That's the fun stuff, is making stuff like that. And so I even did one for the giant, you probably saw, because acromegaly does that to people. Their joints weaker and they need some help and things, sometimes. So
where is Cletus and Shorty now?
There's 3 different renditions. They're all doing different things.
I thought
this one I think is in a private collector's collection. There's one that's in, or no, is this the one that's in the banjo one? Is that in Europe? Is that the one that's in Europe?
Yeah. So Cletus and Shorty played checkers for Mark Parker.
Okay, Cletus and Shorty played checkers. Went to Mark Parker, who was a CEO of Nike.
Wow.
Oh, time he bought it, and he just called me. It won the Gold Award in the Spectrum book. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Spectrum, but it was a publication that's really helped to launch me as an artist. I can't say enough about it. I wish they were still publishing it.
So
But
Cletus and Shorty played banjo. I went to Spain.
yeah, and Cleveland, this piece went to Spain in a collection of work from me that went into a show called American Freak, and then there was one that went to a private collector. And that's where I thought this went, but I got it. And that was Cletus and Shorty Hunt Snipe, which
so
was,
I got to ask you talked about the private collectors, and I know Guillermo del Toro has got a number, I think, of your pieces, right? In his in the Cabinet of Curiosities. So
he's got go ahead.
No, I guess What's how many he's got? He's got a bunch, right?
Yeah, he's got like 13 life-size pieces. Whoa. A lot of small stuff. I do a lot of little things too, Frankenstein skulls and stuff. I don't know if you.
Oh, I love the Frankenstein skulls.
I think we can have some of those in here too, for sure.
Yeah, he's got. He's got
around. So much stuff to show.
Yeah.
But wait, so back to that. I'm sorry. So you've got lots of folks famous and the CEO of Nike and all these other things. Do you ever get direct commissions from them, or is it something
I just picked up just last week? I got a call from David Copperfield.
Oh.
So I'm doing a piece for David Copperfield.
Wow.
So,
now, is this something you guys collaborate on the idea, or is it he just says make?
No, in this case, it's one of the freaks. It's one of the actual characters from Freaks. It's Johnny Eck, and the reason it's Johnny Eck because Johnny Eck, you guys know about Johnny Eck, right? The half boy.
Yeah, I think we have pictures of him in here.
Yeah, I did this piece once before, and he saw that piece, and the cool thing about Johnny Eck, and the reason he's so important to magicians, is because Johnny Eck presented a very unique situation. He had an identical twin brother who was whole. So you can imagine how valuable this guy was to the Saw the Man in Half trick.
Johnny Eck's the guy. He doesn't have the lower body.
Right. Yeah. He's only like from the sternum up.
That's crazy.
Right? But he had an identical twin, So the identical twin, they use this guy to, it's you, sir, in the audience. Could you come up and be a volunteer for my Saw the Man in Half trick? And they turn the thing around, and open it up, and Johnny would come running out, and the women would pass out and throw up and whatever. And he was, so.
That's what I was going to say. How many people ended up in therapy from that?
I know. It was like,
awful.
I think that's why David Copperfield was so interested in getting Johnny Eck for his collection of art, because, he was a magician's dream come true as a client, or not a client, but as a volunteer, come up and participate in my experiment. Johnny Eck's brother would come up and get in the coffin, and they cut the thing in half, and the doors would open, and Johnny Eck would come out, but he had no lower half, and he'd race around because he was as fast on two hands as most men could run on two hands.
Oh my gosh.
If you've ever seen the movie, you could see this guy was just incredible. So I did a sculpture of him for Guillermo. I think Johnny and of course Mike Elizalde, who's a wonderful guy. He sort of put us together and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this piece again? And I said, yeah. And he said, you'll be hearing from David Copperfield. And then the phone rang, and there he was, and I was just blown away. That I'm actually speaking to David Copperfield, and he was very nice. And so he said, can you make this piece? I said, sure. So I'm about to start that piece very soon.
Cool. Wow. So related to the pieces, I think we touched on this right before we went on the air, but it's the part that I'm enamored with is Paul and I we have to enjoy the process, because that's all we've got, because this thing rots, and it's it's only a few hours of work. So at the same time, we love it, we hate it, whatever, but love and maybe hate about the process, because you talked about everything from armature to clothing to punching hair to paint to shit. You have to ship the thing. Sorry, language. You have to ship the thing to Spain or wherever it's going to go to. So that's another endeavor. So tell us about the process. What do you like and dislike?
Well, hold on. Before you get into that, you don't got to worry about the process too much, because David Copperfield only has to pay half price, right?
Tonight only.
Yeah. Poof. Yeah.
You only made half a guy. Half price, right?
Yeah. I lost my train of thought. What happened?
Sorry.
The process.
Process. A lot of people's like, well, do you do a drawing? And I'm like, yeah, I used to do drawing. I don't do that much drawing anymore. The piece really is just, it's in my head and it's this blurry image, and it's really blurry because I have a general idea of what I want to do. Much like you, I mean, there's not a lot of difference in the way a pumpkin carver and a guy like me thinks, because I don't have a really specific, it unfolds as I'm doing it.
Yes.
And like this piece you're showing here, I just knew I wanted to make a terrifying vampire child.
Mission accomplished.
What would that look like? And so what I did was, in this case, was I got on Pinterest and I started typing in pictures of children that were, and I hate to say this, starving kids.
Oh,
well,
because I do it all the time.
I needed reference of children that were emaciated. Yeah. So, there was a lot of Holocaust stuff and stuff from Africa and stuff like that I sort of put on a page for reference, because a child vampire wouldn't be very good at it, not like and so I started that became part of the story, is that they're holding on to their really creepily, it's a creepy thing. They're holding on to their childhood with these stuffed animals, but they've got to feed, and they're small, and they're, so there's this creepiness about it. I just kind of kept thinking it's got to be creepy, and then the blind eyes and stuff. So that stuff just developed as I was making a piece like this, where I just wanted it to just be creepy as hell.
And again, it started with the foam, the rigid foam, and then the Sculpey, and then
I just I got a just to be accurate, I got a child skull from Bone Clones, and I looked at that skull, and then I just kind of made it a little more vampiric. I made a mold of it in foam. I made a foam skull, and then I started with my Sculpey and created the sculpt, and then I tried to get the body as skeletal as possible.
Yeah.
So and skeletal hands and stuff like that.
But even long hands, because they're other world. Yeah.
Yeah, frail. Devoid of blood. He needs blood really bad. And so he's coming out to hunt for one more night, and hopefully he'll be successful.
He put down his monkey for a few minutes so he can get a little taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah.
So just to touch on real quick, when you say you used to draw, but now you don't, do you find I kind of feel like I'm going to know the answer. Does it free you up? You know what I mean? You're not rigid on what you drew. Like sometimes you draw something, you're like, I got to kind of stick to the script.
Well, if I do
have it in your head,
I do occasionally draw, just to sort of get to work out a structure problem. How am I going to balance this? How am I going to? I got to remember to use threaded rod, and I got to. So I'll make a note: threaded rod. 3/4 inch threaded rod, stuff like that. I just have to, I have to work that stuff out. And I used to have to. I came out of the animatronics world. I started my career as a toy designer for those characters from Cleveland.
Yeah.
So those were all, things that you had to do drawing for, to sort of sell the product or project to begin with, to whoever else was looking at it. And I mean, I was hired as a
any of those toys? Oh, I was going to ask if any of those toys still exist anywhere. Do you still have any of those old stuff you made from way back?
Yeah, I got some stuff there that I is the jiggly-eyed still a guy still around? Yeah. There's some stuff that you occasionally will see on eBay that I had a hand in, you know, that you know, I mean, the toy thing was there's yeah. Here we go. Is that this jiggly-eyed monster? This was pretty much all me. Yeah, this guy.
I'm zooming in on that.
You know, when I did this guy, I was like probably 26 years old. You know, I was, you know, so it was, and the whole idea was, you can't really see it very well, but when you move him, the whole thing was based on the invention where the eyes go,
the buzzing,
you know,
yeah,
and they buzz, and there's a little spring back there that's holding the pupil, and it just jiggle this thing a little. It's a little pen size spring, and it jiggles a little bit. So jiggly-eyed monster. And so I got together with one of the Push girls and said, I want to do this, and I'll sculpt the head, and we were just supposed to draw it, but we went ahead and just built it. And I think they were pissed at me for doing that because I wasted some company hours on that. But I wound up selling to another company, and like a few months after I was more or less let go, basically for not playing well with others. This thing was on the toy shelves by some, you know, company that was that they had sold the idea to, and they just took the prototype and made molds of it, you know.
What?
So that's my toy thing, you know.
Well, I want to thank them for firing you. That was a good work.
Yeah, well, I love the people that I worked with, and I still do. I still love them all. They're still, you know, they're the guy that had to let me go is I still consider a good friend. He's been wonderful, you know. Every so often we'll have a little meetup, you know, where we get together for a dinner sometime and talk about what we're doing now. And so we lost one of them recently, a good friend.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Well, we have this, like, the Paul and I like struggle with trying to figure out what comes first, second, third when it comes to hyper realism. And I know that this is like a like you described. So the rigid foam, then the super sculpey, then it's like a cast, right? Then you have latex, and then you do the inlays for maybe some veins and stuff like that in the again, I won't claim to know, but it just
well, I can give you a brief. It's silicone because latex is not
silicone.
Latex is awesome, but it's not translucent. Although I know some artists that can really make it look that way illusion wise. Their airbrushing is just phenomenal. You believe you're looking at something that's translucent when it's really opaque. But you've had these guys on, like guys like Casey Love and stuff, where they
Tim Gore.
when they paint something, it looks like you can see through it, and it's
I don't know how that does
Jordan Shell and those guys. You know those guys, but their airbrushing is like you believe you're looking at real skin. But I like silicone because it does a number. It takes hair root. You can root hair with it and stuff, and it lasts. I use platinum cure silicone. The process is you know, of course the sculpt comes first, and then the reason I like Sculpey is because when I'm done, a lot of guys don't like Sculpey. I like Sculpey because I'm sausage fingers, you know. I'm heavy-handed, and when it comes to doing a parting line, that parting line can screw things up. You can mess up all that detail you work so hard on. So I lay apart, I heat the stuff on the surface and it cures it, gets it hard, and you don't have to worry about denting all that delicate wrinkles and stuff you work so hard on. So I make a parting line, and then I do the top half the mold, peel off the clay that made the parting line, wax the surface of that, so it doesn't stick to itself. Make the second part of the, It's a very long, tedious process making a mold. And
I'm
that's
always
why
impressed that you use Sculpey. I think I love using Sculpey, and I've asked other artists too, because you can just tell it's Sculpey based on the tone of it, right?
Right, yeah. The
And
other
I would
thing I
say,
love
how
about
does he
Sculpey-
use?
What's that?
I would just say, how does he use that much Sculpey? Because I can only find it in.
Yeah, and I used to, and that's the thing that they've really jumped the price of it. You know, I used to buy it in 22-pound boxes, and they don't sell it that way anymore. So now I have to buy it in 1 pound or 2 pound bricks. You know, and the price of a brick that I used to buy 22 pounds of it for what I now pay for just a couple pounds. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
However, to me, I can't really change. I just like polymer clays, and I like them because you can walk away and come back to it, and it's right where you left off. You don't have to worry about, you know, the consistency of it changing or spraying it with water and keeping it under a cloth. And, you know, it's, in that respect, it's lazy. I can be lazy about it. You know, I don't have to care for it like you do a pet. And come back to it later, keep working on it.
I think a lot of guys use wet clay because they're under the gun.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I like Mike Hill, you know, probably uses wet clay, Jordu, and they get the same, if not better results than I get because I grew up on Sculpey. They grew up on wet clay.
Right.
You know, it's like
the devil you know.
Some guys like Harleys because they grew up on Harleys. Some guys like Hondas because they grew up on Hondas. It's the same thing here. You grow up on a certain medium and you get used to it. And
hey, you're talking to a couple of guys that are living this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We grew up on pumpkins too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
it's funny because we talked about like the medium of pumpkins, and it is temporary in a lot of ways. But when you know it, like Sculpey, I can totally understand why that's, you know what, I'm good. I've clearly gotten this one down. So why mess with success, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I watch you guys. I watch you guys work. I watch some of you pumpkin artists work, and you're just so fluid. It's almost like watching a dance sometimes. You know, it's just, you just start cutting in, and then lo and behold, this personality comes out, and it's like, wow. You know.
When you do yours, like for instance, like this fella, or I'm sorry, this is Pinhead, right? Or I guess.
Yeah, this is Slitzy. Yeah, this is he's the one from Freaks. Yeah.
Yeah, and fabulous character, and I totally get it because I've seen the black and white film of Slitzy and like just fascinating. But for somebody who's, you know, unknown, you kind of have your twist on this is your character of. To me, it's like it still speaks of your work because it's got such personality. And even though we know who it is, I mean, I guess when you're using something who has come from history like that, do you use a lot of specific reference, or do you just kind of still wing it?
In this case, I use specific reference, but at the time I did this piece is almost 20 years old now.
Wow.
I didn't have as much reference as I wanted. I keep threatening to do this piece over again, and my wife won't let me.
What?
Because she's like, you've done them. Move on. Keep going. Don't keep revisiting old stuff. You got all these ideas in your head. Do those. And she's right. She's right about
smart.
it.
She's definitely
smart. But I keep wanting to go back and perfect. And, you know, if I had him to do over again, he would be very different than what he is. But Guillermo, from what I hear, Guillermo says hello to him. That's in Guillermo's collection. And Guillermo says hello to him every morning when he gets up and comes down the stairs. So in that respect, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with him because he's doing his job.
Yeah, it totally meant. I love that. Some of the skulls you do, you said are also in Guillermo's. I mean, like, to give a human skull character like you do is otherworldly too, because you have to be able to trick the human eye into saying that, okay, that's a skull, but it also is, you know, got emotion to it. just magical because everyone knows how rigid skulls are. You can do it with skin.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's do you enjoy doing skulls too?
Oh, very much. Yeah. As I said, I have a big collection of real human skulls that I've been collecting human skulls since I was in my early 20s. You know, I'd find them. I used to find them on eBay when they would sell them on eBay. There's still some sites that sell them online. I have friends that have, hey, my grandfather was a doctor and I don't really want this. Do you want it? You know, I'm, oh, wow. I'll take it.
Nice.
You know?
Wow.
So, and their personalities are in their bones, literally in their bones. They're all very different. The skull is like a fingerprint. They're all extremely different from one another.
Yeah.
So that's the Krampus. That piece also is in the collection of Mark Parker.
Oh,
it was now that piece there. That was Bram did the book Krampus, and that was inspired by his book Krampus, and he did some wonderful painting. You guys know who Bram is, obviously, right?
From Dracula?
No, not Bram Stoker. Gerald Bram, the guy. He's a phenomenal illustrator. He's done so much. But he's written a lot of his own books and illustrated those books, and his writing is every bit as good as his artwork. And he did a book called Krampus, and it was his own story about the Krampus. And I'm sitting next to his wife while he was doing this presentation for a Spectrum show. The book Spectrum used to do conventions, and at the Spectrum convention, he was one of the speakers, and he said, this is going to be my next book. And he showed the painting, and I turned to her and I said, oh, I want a bit. And before I could finish the sentence, she grabbed me by the arm and said, oh, you've got to do it. You got to build it. And then she dragged me up to him later, she said, Tom has to talk to you. I said, oh, is it okay if I make your Krampus? And he goes, yeah, that would be cool. When you get them done, send me a picture and we'll sort of cross pollinate, we'll promote. Yeah. Cross pollinate. Yeah. Cross promote, So, it was my way of promoting his book, and it was a wonderful book. It was really, he's fun to read. I have a hard time reading books, but he writes in a way that I can't put it down.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tell a story. And so he gets pictures in your head when, you really see what it is he's talking about. And you can tell he's an artist first, So
yeah, I'm looking at him right now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So good. Oh, wow. Yeah. Back to the skulls real quick. Again,
that's the Abomination. Yeah. Yeah. I have that piece right here.
Oh, let's take a look.
Yeah, that piece still happens to be.
Oh my.
Yes.
See how big it is?
Oh, it is.
That little story there, it's got a little story.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So I do this kind of stuff too. I love doing this. And I wanted to give this, the whole idea behind this piece. I found this story online, and it's I'm not going to bore you with try to read this whole thing, but what it was I wanted to give the impression that there was this the story is that it's called The Abomination of Hauska Castle. And there is an actual castle somewhere in Europe that has no windows or doors. Okay. And the legend is that it was an entrance to hell that they were trying to keep people out of. Before they built the castle in like the 1500s or something, they sent this like slave down on a rope, to see how deep it would go, because it just kept going. They tried to fill it in, and it just was endless. And so he came up, and he had aged 30 years, and his hair was white. He was catatonic, So I added to the story that he had that skull in his hands, And that wasn't in the legend. But if you look up Huska Castle, just Google it, you'll see that story. And I found that while I was sculpting this skull, and I thought, oh, there it is. I'll just plug that story in, and it's a great piece for oddities collection or whatever. And so I created that story along. I just added the skull into that story, and I ended it with, there were other bones found as well with evidence of cannibalism. In other words, people were feeding. They're feeding it people, and it died down there when somebody stopped feeding it, and it was this horrible, this abomination of a human, and with this big, the back of it has got these big sutures.
The big nuggets, and
it comes off its base. I found these candles, these cast iron things at Hobby Lobby. They were candle holders, and I cut them up and made them into. So it's.
I love how everything's so organic. Like it's all found items.
You
go and search out the perfect things.
Yeah.
I'm enamored with like your eye. You talked about like you have a project. It is, you've got a hat for, or something you've stored for a few years, many years, maybe in some cases, because you've got an idea bouncing around your head about something you want to do, and it's just about finding the next piece that's going to help create it. Do you have something like that, like on the precipice, or something you haven't done, like your Goliath, that is like my next big,
Yeah, what's eating at you?
Hey, what's keeping you up at night?
Well, after I get done with Johnny Eck, because I just got hired to do him.
Yeah.
After that, I saw these crows on Etsy, that this taxidermy crows that this guy in Europe made. You can't kill crows over here, but in Europe, I guess they have an abundance of crows. But stuff like that. But I saw these crows, and I have these two stuffed crows that are in this particular, position where they're, and I've got a character in mind that they're going to sit on the shoulders of, and he's, and again, it's just a vague, almost a shadow of an image that as I get into him more and find more things, and he's going to be another character in Razorback Holler. He's going to be another cousin of Cletus and Shorty and Goliath Greeley, and they're all related. There's a lot of inbreeding going on, but they're all related. So he's going to have that third eye. I've already, he's basically that clown that you showed, but I want to do him in another character because that face intrigued me. So
I love it.
Yeah. So. That's the one I think that I would like to do next. I think is another little guy to add to my world of weird characters, and love to do that.
Enough. There's never enough. I gotta say, I'm a huge fan. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing I love it. The one thing we don't have is a scarcity of Tom's stuff. We cherry picked because we're Tom and I are huge fans.
And I barely scratched the surface. I thought I was going to crash the program putting the deck together. I just sat there going, love this one, love this one, love this one.
Yeah. See, now that piece, go back to that. Can you go back? Yeah, that piece that whole piece was because that lady that Raylene that owned that flea market, I was walking around outside the flea market, and buried halfway down in the mud was that sign that's behind him. The whole thing was a damn sign. There was a sign, and it was buried in the mud, and I had to clean the mud out of it, and I actually got it working. Those lights that were like fairground lights. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I actually got it working again. I rewired it, and I got all the bulbs. I found this guy who had old circus bulbs at this lighting place. Everything was sheer luck, I was like, I got to make a piece that works with the sign. It's crazy, just nuts, And the piece that I had in my head for a long, long time was, what if the dummy and the
Ventriloquist.
The ventriloquist, the roles were reversed, and so there's a story to this guy, and the story is that they used to have an act where this guy was alive. The big guy was alive, Harry K. Daver. I had to be silly with my names too, so he was abusive alcoholic, and one day, Morty N. Balmer, the little guy, spiked his liquor with embalming fluid, and he got it and turned him into a ventriloquist dummy. So the name of the piece is called "The Show Must Go On." He died, and then the show started up again, and now you can see, Harry K. Daver's mouth is sort of moving, but his eyes are wonky because he's dead, and he's got glass eyes stuffed in his face, and Morty is pulling a string behind him or whatever, inside him or whatever, and he's making him talk, but so that was the whole impetus for the piece, was that damn sign that I found buried in the mud outside of the Cotton Mill Flea Market in Selma, North Carolina. I just had to do it.
You were telling us about, and I'm going to find it really quick while I bring it up. But you were telling us about the same flea market and the antique wheelchair you were given.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I pull it up. Sorry, I'm not the fastest clicker, but right. I was fascinated because was that also the inspiration for this piece?
That again, this flea market had a big piece of my life, 10, 15 years ago, where I would go down there every weekend and just look around and pet the dogs and the cats. And, this lady had dogs and cats everywhere. She's still there. And what she does is people bring her strays. They bring her stray animals, and she finds them, and she helps them find new homes and helps them nurse them back to health. And so much of what she does is for them to get animals new homes and get them healthy again. And she's a wonderful person. And so she one day I used to go there just about every weekend, and she goes, "I've got something for you." And she wheels out this wheelchair, and I was like, "Oh," and I started thinking on it. And at first I'm thinking, well, I got to make a funky looking motor to drive this wheelchair. There's this crazy scientist, and so his whole setup is to give life to the dead, and
your brain.
Yeah, there's a story on my website that covers him, I think. Yeah. You can read the story about this guy. Yeah, Dr. Nighty Night. And so and I stopped thinking about I'm like, I don't want to, and I'm taking apart old vacuum cleaners trying to get parts, and I'm like, this is a pain in the ass. So then I thought, what if he has a cadaver that just pushes the damn thing and he just goes left, and the thing starts to turn left, right, and the thing turns right. So I put these spark plugs to just stimulate his spinal column to go left and right, and you'll see. And I welded together this apparatus that holds him up, because being he has no head, he has no balance. So the only thing that works on him is his feet, So that's what drives the wheelchair, So this thing's walking along by its locomotion is a cadaver that can still walk, and its head is just completely missing, and it's capped off like a sewer lid, it's just bolted to its collarbone, and it has these electrodes to continually stimulate his muscles to keep him going.
Just keep twitching.
And, so those are the storylines that are so much fun.
So
he's got a lollipop like he's going to be able to entice a child up there. Yeah, right. And he waiting behind that is a syringe to get the kid to get close enough to jab him with this thing so he could suck his essence out and give it to some, Russian guy from the 20s.
Right.
It's a crazy story. Read it. Look at my website. It's there.
You know, that's kind of a great segue into what I was going to bring up from Johnny. Asked, he's a fan. He loves your work. He wants to know, how do you maintain and find inspiration? And I would say, John, you just heard a great story for inspiration. Like, go to Tom's website, read some stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hit your neighborhood flea market.
I was a huge Twilight Zone fan, a huge fan of Rod Serling. You know, I was an EC Comics fan. All of those stories had a profound influence on me. Night Gallery.
Was that also Tales from the Crypt and stuff like that?
Oh
too?
yeah, EC, yeah.
That's what I grew up on.
Tales from the Crypt was just huge in my world. All that stuff, the original comics. Even though I was a little too young to get the original comics.
I got the books. I got the ones that were already bound, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. But I did get some issues of it that had, and there were all the spin-offs from those. Comic books were coming out that were inspired by the original EC Tales from the Crypt, but they were sort of rip-off stories, you know.
Yeah.
Creepy and eerie books were
eerie.
huge in my world, you know. That's why I built those guys, you know, because they were huge inspirations to me. So there
you go, Johnny.
Yeah.
Look at the Edgar Allan Poe.
That's in Guillermo wanted me to do him. So
that's brilliant. Wow.
It
almost looks like a photograph of. It doesn't even look like it can be a 3D.
Yeah,
sculpt.
And the head, I made the head so he could turn it. You know, that head is on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the arms and head were posable. So yeah.
We got another big fan here. Thank you, Peyton.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What an inspiration. Yeah, I think one of the things that Paul and I will always just be enamored by is the amount of let's see if I can find the right word. You put so much personality in every one of your things. Like the expressions are like bigger than life in so many ways, and that's the part where, you know, in any pumpkin carver, you're dealing with a medium that's, you know, one color and you're one dimension. And you're really, I guess, so you're trying to get any kind of emotion you can out of it. So that's why I think Paul and I will gladly say we try to rip you off anytime we can. With just trying to get an emotion, get a the face, you know?
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Yeah, that's Guillermo's too. Yeah. Guillermo was really, he was in, you know, when he first started with me, he was like, you know, this freak and then the next freak. And of course, that's Hans from Freaks. And then one day, you know, I mentioned, why don't we do, and he's like, no more freaks. Like, he just got tired of it, you know. It's like, now we're going to do, Edgar Allan Poe or H.P. Lovecraft. And he got on an author thing for a little bit where, you know, famous sci-fi horror authors and stuff. And then, you know, it went from that to guys like Nicholson from The Shining. And
that's in there too, isn't it, Maddie?
Yeah, I got it right here. Yeah, I was going to ask you, is this in his collection as well?
Yeah, that was one of the more recent pieces. The latest piece was Rod Serling. I don't know if you guys have a picture of that.
I don't think we have that one on.
Yeah, I don't think I sent that one to you. And it's not on my website yet. We haven't had a time to really update that, you know. But that piece was fun because he was like, let's do Jack, and his emails were always really brief, you know. So he'd be like, let's do Jack. And I'm like, you know, Jack was buried up to his collarbone in snow at the end. He goes, just put a little snow around it. You know what to do. You know? So to do that snow, I had to study guys who died on Everest. There's photos of people, what happens when someone's frozen to death and snow just blasts into them. And you could see the way snow lands and buries itself in the wrinkles of clothing. So now I have to figure out how to do that, you know, and make it look real. And what I discovered was, you know, if you put styrofoam in a blender, it just looks like little balls.
Yeah.
Like styrofoam balls. And this is the kind of stuff you got to go through as a sculptor. It's like, okay, how do I make snow look real? But if you put it through a juicer, you know.
Ah,
It shreds the shit out of it, you know, and it
all you
turns
need,
it
a
into
juicer.
snowflakes. And so those styrofoam balls get shredded up into these snowflakes, and it makes for great snow. And then the other thing I discovered was that silicone caulk, the kind you squirt out of the silicone guns, you know,
Yeah.
if you get 100% pure silicone, not silicone 2, don't ever get that stuff. It's worthless. It never cures. It stays gooky. I don't know why they still sell that stuff. But that silicone, pure 100% GE silicone caulk makes for great icicles and ice and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Really?
You know, so I was using that and creating this frozen quality, and it worked really well.
Yeah,
And
that's
then I would
great.
pack it in these areas. I'd pack it and then pack the styrofoam over it while it was drying, and it made for great snow into the clothing, you know. And those are the problems I have to solve on the fly when I'm doing this stuff. Is how do I make this work and look real?
Yeah.
I just love the fact that you decided a juicer would be a
I had
viable option.
a juicer that I stopped. You know, I was like, I mentioned juice to my doctor. He goes, well, juicer separates the sugar from its fiber. It's not as healthy as people think. And I'm like, well, I'm not using the juicer anymore. And I hadn't thrown it away yet. So it was sitting in my barn. And I'm like, I want to pull this thing out and use it for making snow. And of course, it's static electricity's got the crap going everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had to step inside one of those giant Christmas tree bags, you know, for bagging your Christmas tree.
Oh my
And I
God.
got inside that to contain all the styrofoam, you know, and just this stuff's all over me and it's everywhere. And I had it in a plastic bag because that it was all in my face and my mouth and my eyes. And
Oh, I can only
I
imagine.
collected it up and packed it onto the glue, and it worked. It worked great. The rest of it I sucked up in my shop vac. So, yeah.
I'm
It's amazing.
okay now. Paul, before I say what I don't even want to say, which is we're over time, and I don't care about being over. I'd rather just hang out with you for another hour.
It's like a 4-part interview.
This is one
it's
of
like
the
the best hang ever.
Yeah, I think we gotta have you come back. I think that's the quintessential. But I don't know if everyone has been here since the beginning, but one of the things that that we fell in love with Tom's art, let's see here. I'm just gonna pull it back up because I'm such a huge fan of this piece, but was your giant. We talked about it at the very beginning, and then I wanted to look back at the leg brace because you mentioned the disease state. And then just to get the scale. So what is it? What is this guy's height? I meant to ask that earlier.
9 feet tall. He's like 9 foot 1 inch, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
If he was to stand up straight, you know, he would probably be 9'5". But you know, he's stooped a little bit. He's calling him, you know, it's feeding time. You know.
Yeah, he's got the animals coming. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a different animal in that basket down there because that thing, I got that off Etsy, and I didn't know it, but it had moths in it. It had larvae. So I had to get rid of it. And I made a snipe, like Cletus and Shorty hunt snipe, you know that. So I thought, well, I'll put a snipe in there because they hang out. You guys know what a snipe hunt is?
It's not. Yeah, I thought snipes were like a legend. I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah,
okay.
They are a legend. They were when we were kids. It was like, you know, in Cub Scouts, they made us all go out with flashlights.
And you go snipe hunting.
Yeah, and you got to holler. You know, made you do the stupid call for snipes, and we'll chase them toward you. And that's where the phrase "left holding the bag" came from. You know, when you're left holding the bag, you were a kid standing out there at midnight going, you know, and holding this bag up for a snipe that was never going to show up, you know. Well, in the world of Razorback Holler, they exist.
Oh,
and Cletus caught him. You know, he actually caught snipes. So, and he's holding a snipe up. You know, I don't know if you guys have that picture, but he was one of the Cletus and Shorty pieces, and he's filled his bag up with snipes. It actually worked. So that was one of my stories. You know, was that everybody thought it was a big joke, but Cletus caught snipe. So,
well, if there was ever anyone to invent to actually materialize a snipe, it's you, John.
Yeah, it was a good snipe. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Wait, before we go, I want to show. Let's see what Paul's making here because you have yours kind of in good good position here. I guess we'll
Well,
get to
blocking. Blockity
Yeah,
block
let's see.
blocking.
He's
Yeah.
looking grumpy.
He's looking a little grumpy.
Yeah, he's definitely grumpy. Grumpy Frank.
It's the
Yeah.
light. Oh, weird.
Do we get
my-
to see the finished when you're done? You guys put those on when you're completely finished, you get to see them, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
well-
Oh yeah. The rule is
Yeah.
whenever from when we start a challenge, we have till the next episode to get it finished.
Cool. Awesome.
Because it's a perishable item,
Yeah.
there is a clock on it. So
Yeah.
I'll probably have him finished probably tomorrow, maybe Saturday morning.
All right.
Might have to put him away for obligations, but I'll keep him cool and in the refrigerator
Yeah.
and very hydrated.
like a good
But
produce.
this is stressful, Matt. This is with Tom on the show. Like
No
This is
pressure here. I couldn't
could
do.
take me
I couldn't
15
even
hours.
begin to do that. I could not even begin to do that, especially achieve the level of completion that you have in this short amount of time. That's incredible to me. That's just
Wow.
incredible.
you're
Okay,
very,
Matt.
very kind.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't have as much because I was busy with yours, but I got.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got your whole nose done.
Oh yeah.
He's got some anger
Look at
going,
that.
but kind of washed out. Sorry for that, but he'll get there.
But I get the picture though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's grumpy. Or what's the I forgot the prompt already. What is
Grumpy Frankenstein.
Grumpy. Okay, thank you. Hey, you know,
I never-
it's a whirlwind. It's a whirlwind sometimes. I forget.
It's just been the best time talking, hearing the stories. Oh my God. I waited 6 years for this, Matt. 6
Oh,
years we've been doing this.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
we-
I'm sorry
I
it took so long. I got to give credit to Jim Groman because, I mentioned this to him. He goes,
Hey.
oh, you got to do it. That's a blast.
Love
And
Jimmy.
Jim and I
Oh.
have known each other almost since childhood. I mean,
Wow. He's another one. What a talent.
He's one of my best friends in the whole world, and he's the only one that's not a drummer. So, yeah.
Oh, look
But
at that.
maybe he
He's
will
not-
be. I don't know.
I know.
That's
Maybe
who
we'll have to get him
overworks.
drumsticks.
Yeah, but he
Exactly.
and I
We'll
have
get him-
known each other for longer, I think, than any of my other friends.
You know what? That makes sense because I could see the two of you getting along famously because
Oh,
he
yeah.
is such a funny, laid back guy. It's just
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah,
We had
he's a
such a
lot
good
of
time
fun to
when he
be
was on.
around. He really is. He's very inspiring. We've been friends for years and years, and have a lot of artistic history together. And I treasure his friendship. So he's the one that said, "Oh, you got to do this, Tom. You're going to love it." So
Thank you, Jimmy.
yeah,
He was our
Thank you.
Tom gateway drug. Thank you.
yeah.
So you know what I was just thinking? Like for a second I was like, Jesus, I'm jealous of that friendship. But you know what, Matt? That's what we
Aw.
got. That's what we got.
Right here, buddy.
That's the thing about artists, that artists have the best friends in the world. Of all the people that I know out there, artists have the best, most, this kind of thing. They really do. And it lasts across the miles and spans of time, where you pick up where you left off. If you haven't seen each other for 2 years, those kind of things are there,
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Geez, we live on the other side of the country and we met over Instagram, and our families have crossed the country to visit each other several times.
Yeah. That's how it works. Yep.
It's a connection that I feel bad for people that don't have it. That artistic, it's like a language. You
Right.
kinda
Yeah.
just
We connect it's our weirdness. I think
love
that's
being weird.
That's
It's
a lot
the
of it.
best.
Is we relate to each other. It's our weirdness. So
Yeah, I got to carve into my. Well, okay, I'm gonna stop saying carving. All right, I'm gonna dig into my brain and try to get the Tom stories. Like I think when you describe the hollow and like all the different things that kind of create that story of your character, I'm so enamored by it. And I love that because it ends up becoming such a living part of your art, the Norman Rockwell part of your art, that I think everyone's enamored and in love with. So we couldn't be happier that you hung out with us tonight. And Paul's not kidding. We want you back. And if you're up for it, we'll have you back on for another fun. Because again, we have 2,000 more pictures to show you.
okay. Yeah. There's no shortage of that. I just That's what I do. I don't really go anywhere or do anything. I just my neighbors go by with their dogs and they go, "Oh God, what's he doing now?" You know. And then, you know, the one guy keeps giving me dead stuff, you know, because he works for the city. You know, he keeps the graveyards clean and cuts the grass. And when he finds a dead raccoon or something, he has a field out back where we get the, you know, let the animals and birds and bones. And then he brings me the skulls and stuff, and I use that stuff in my work. You know, so people bring me stuff. It's just what a life. You know,
Oh,
I love it.
It really is awesome. Hey, I got an idea. What if we had you and Jim back on?
Oh, that would be awesome. Because he and I could tell stories together about things, you know.
Love it. Love it.
There's
we're
gonna have to do it. It has to be done.
Okay, yeah. Paul, I think you just created the show. We're gonna have Tom, Jim, you and I, and you guys got to either come with a pumpkin, or we got to come with clay or something horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm just gonna come with a smile on my face and sit there all giddy.
The question that I had is that I wanted to use my phone because I wanted to sort of take you guys around, but I didn't think I could do that because I don't think the reception would be, you know.
That's another reason we got to have you back.
In the computer room with the camera. So I don't know how that works, you know. And my wife is the girl that has to figure all this crap out for me.
We're gonna send you a little camera like this, and you can walk around. That's Paul. We got a plan here.
We'll get him smart glasses and just wear them around his shop.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man!
Wow. All right. Well, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna go to the last screen here. This is just so sad. We had such a blast with you, sir. We want to hang out with you again.
So this is where you can find Tom. I mean, and I put these two up there because you do have links to your Etsy shirts, Etsy store, and all the other places we can find you. I mean, Google him. Jesus, people, he's unbelievable. It's like ridiculous how amazing you are. And you know what's, I try not to use reference. And one of the few times I use reference, I tried to do it on the handsome lady in the middle that's staring at me double.
Oh yeah.
On a pumpkin in Chicago one time. And that's when I think that was the time I realized I shouldn't use reference. Because I can't do that.
Yeah, I was trying to make my version of a Black Widow spider.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Actual widow, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that is
because she's got 8 limbs. You know, she's got 2 legs and 6 arms.
Perfect.
So that's her whole idea, and she's wearing mourning garb from the 1800s. The real thing. She's got real
the Black Widow. Yeah,
she's perfect Black Widow. Yeah, so that's what she is. She's a Spider Woman. You know,
I love it.
Creepy
it's
as
one of my, I mean, I say it to everything, but it's one of my favorites, and I know I say that all the time.
We never learned anything on the last slide, but now we have. Tom, you're like legendary.
Well, we're gonna do it again. Remember, we're gonna do it again. So we'll have a whole new slide. We'll get through. We'll use the rest of the deck we didn't get to it. I'll make a whole new one.
There we go.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again, Tom, for joining us. This was such a blast, and I know for Matt and I, it's a checkbox for the duration of the show. We've been dying to get you on. You've been such an inspiration to not only us, but thousands and thousands of artists, man. Everybody looks to you for the gold standard.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
And this is where you can find us. You know, if you're ever looking there, Tom, if you ever want to get on TikTok or Twitch or all the socials, that's where you can find us.
I basically, for me, it's just Facebook and Instagram. I'm so old school. People keep saying, man, you should print your sculpt. I'm like, I don't have the aptitude. I can't. I'm so old school. I'm fingers and basics, you know.
No, I love it that when you make it, it's gone. Like somebody needs to have it. It's so sought after. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And besides, pictures are great too, because you know what else you got. You know, it's the best. Pictures last forever.
Thank you.
Unless you're Guillermo, and then he has just about everything.
Yeah.
He can have anything he wants.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everybody that tuned in tonight. And we will see you again next time on another Carvers and Creators. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
See you guys.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween is right.
Almost there.